What's up, familia? Welcome inside the Big Rig. Hope you guys are doing good. Keep it between the lines. Got your load secure. Let's get into a scary trucker story.
I've been a trucker for over 2 decades now, driving all kinds of routes across this great country of ours. I thought I'd seen everything there was to see on the open highways, but nothing could prepare me for the chilling encounter I had a few weeks back while hauling a load down Highway 90 through remote southwest Texas. It was meant to be just another routine delivery day. I was trucking a large shipment of lumber from El Paso to San Antonio. The mid-morning sun was already high and hot as I cruised along the dusty rural highway. The scenery was typical for that area, just endless stretches of shrubby hills, scattered sagebrush, and telephone lines extending out towards the horizon as far as the eye could see.
By the way, I just want to go ahead and say this, man. I love trucking it in Texas. I do, man. I like trucking it in Texas. I've gone through Texas numerous of times, Holmes. I like trucking it in Texas. A lot of open road.
I was about 2 hours into the long, uneventful drive when I noticed something strange up ahead. There on the side of the road was a young girl, maybe around 8 years old, standing all alone and crying inconsolably. Now we were at least 50 miles from the nearest town, so that immediately struck me as very odd. I ain't normally one to stop for hitchhikers, but leaving a small child abandoned on the side of the highway just didn't sit right with me. As I got closer, I could see her little body shaking in sobs. She had her face buried in her hands and didn't even glance up at the sound of my rumbling engine. My heart went out to the poor thing. She seemed so distraught and helpless standing there by herself on the desolate highway. I put on my hazards and slowly maneuvered the lumbering rig over onto the dusty shoulder, gravel crunching into my tires. I sat there idling for a moment, hesitation creeping in. This was real out in the middle of nowhere. What if it was some kind of trap? But
Exactly. Okay. He said right there he was hesitant because what if it was some sort of trap? Exactly, man. You got to be very careful with that. People do use kids. You know, it's not just adults. They're pretending that their car's broken down. People will use kids, man, to get you to pull over and then jack you once. You know, so damn. Quite the situation he's in.
The girl's skinny shoulders, racked with weeping, stirred my conscience. I took a deep breath and cautiously got out, approaching her while scanning the empty landscape around us for any sign of life. There was not a soul in sight, nor any vehicles coming or going, which struck me as mighty strange. "You okay, sweetheart? Where are your parents?" I asked gently, not wanting to scare her any more than she already was. She didn't answer me, just kept looking with her head down. As I got closer, I could see her clothes were dated and worn like tattered old hand-me-downs that had been washed and mended too many times to count. My heart ached, realizing she had probably fallen on some real hard times. I took another step, about to ask the child her name, when a semi came barreling past, blasting its horn loudly. I turned instinctively to glare at the careless driver. But when I looked back to check on the girl, she had vanished without a trace. There was no one there, nothing but barren highway extending for miles in either direction. My blood ran cold in my veins. Where on earth could she have disappeared to so quickly? I stood there utterly dumbfounded in disbelief, even rubbing my eyes to make sure I wasn't imagining things. There was no sign of her, no footprints in the dusty dirt, no foliage disturbed, no evidence at all to indicate she had ever been there. The whole bizarre encounter gave me chills despite the blazing South Texas heat. After fruitlessly searching the area for several more minutes, I shakily got back in my rig and continued cautiously down the empty highway, more perplexed than ever. When I stopped...
Wow. Supernatural, huh? Damn. You know, just going back, if it weren't supernatural, right? That's a kind of an uncomfortable position to be in, because if it's a little like 8-year-old girl, I mean, what do you do, man? Give her a ride? That kind of in a tough spot right there, right? But hey, man, I've heard some of these stories on the road, Holmes. The supernatural kind of stuff, and it does kind of make you think a little bit when you're out here, you know.
For lunch later that day at a sleepy diner in a small town along my route, I asked the waitress if there had been any reports of a young girl gone missing that fit the description. She gave me a bemused look like I was plumb crazy and said no one ever goes missing around these desolate parts. I didn't dare mention the supernatural vanishing act. She'd have thought I was drunk or heat stroke delusional for certain. But I just couldn't get the image of that sad, lonely little girl out of my mind. After dropping off the delivery successfully in San Antonio, I passed back through the same stretch of Highway 90 on my return trip, keeping my eyes peeled for anything out of the ordinary. As I approached about where I had seen the mysterious child, my stomach dropped. Unbelievably, she was there again, sobbing on the roadside in the exact same spot as before. Even more chilling now, as I slowed the truck, she turned and looked right at me with eyes that seemed ancient, full of eternal sadness. Then once again she disappeared instantly, like she was never there at all, leaving me consumed with fearful questions. Back home after that fateful trip, I did some research hoping to make sense of the bizarre encounter. Turns out there are legends all across the country about phantom hitchhikers haunting old highways for ages, never getting their needed ride to some final destination or peaceful rest. Female spirits trapped in endless loops of time, appearing and vanishing endlessly, trying in vain to find someone to pick them up. I'd never believed in ghosts or tall tales until I saw that lost little girl's mournful eyes peering right through me. My coworkers still chuckled when I refused to run Highway 90 through West Texas, saying I'd lost my nerve. But they didn't have to stare down those haunted ancient eyes or wonder if some anguished soul was trying to send a message from beyond the veil. Whatever that little girl was, apparition, mirage, or reality, the memory gives me chills even now, years later.
Damn.
From here on, I think I'll stick to the interstate where everything stays put once you pass it. Because I learned the hard way out there on those lonesome highways. Sometimes not everything is quite as it seems to the eye. Some mysteries are better left unsolved.
Okay. Wow, man. I've never experienced anything like that. This happened during the day. Look, I will tell you guys this, Holmes. When you're tired, like tired, man, you're sleepy and everything, you do kind of, there are some things, man, that you're just kind of, you know, you're kind of dazed off, you're looking forward, and then you think that you see something, you know, and you're like, man, what was that? And it wakes you back up, right? But in this case, this was during the day, and he actually got off of the truck to check it out, to scope it out. And wow, man, that is something else. And the crazy thing is that he took the same route back, and he saw that little girl again. And but this time he didn't bother stopping, huh? Oh man, yeah, I've heard stories like this. So whether they're true, whether they're not, heck, I don't know, man. But nonetheless, it makes for a good, scary trucker story. As always, familia, live your life like you're on the road. Be aware of your surroundings. Now, safe distance blood. Make sure they're below to make family. Until next time, this is Ed the Trucker. Over and out.